Thank you for joining me today. This is part two of a three-part lesson on the book of Revelation, chapter 6, the four horsemen of Revelation, chapter 6. Part one, we did a summary of chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So today we want to jump into chapter 6 and try to find out who or what the four horsemen are all about. In chapter 6, John writes, "And I saw when the Lamb opened the seals, one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts, or living creatures, or angels, say, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went forth to conquer and to conquer." So the first horse rider is white. There's four characteristics you can notice. Number one, you have white for purity. Number two, he has a bow. Number three, he has a crown. And number four, he is guaranteed to succeed because he went forth to conquer. The bow and arrow is an offensive weapon. We're going to find out what this is. So let's look at these four different characteristics. A bow and arrow are offensive weapons. A shield is defensive, but this rider is on the offensive. The crown is given for success, but a crown and rewards are given after the battle, not before. So why give a crown early? And here's the reason. There's no chance of failure. No chance of failure. And he went forth to conquer. In other words, he left, he went, and he pushed his way out into the world as when the seal was open. So who or what is this? Some think it's Jesus Christ, but Jesus is standing there holding the scroll. I don't think it'd be him as he opens the scroll. There he is again, somewhere else on a horse. Some would think it's the Antichrist, but the Antichrist is not pure. He's not holy. He is not guaranteed success. And I would say the best interpretation of the white horse rider is that it is the Word of God, pure on the offense, promises success, and it's crowned with the glory of God. The Bible is the mind of God written to the mind of man. See, God's about ready to pour his wrath on the earth, and he always gives people a chance to come to him before he comes to them in judgment. Just like in the days of Noah, Noah spent 100 years building an ark, but also preaching righteousness and telling people the end time is there. No doubt he was laughed at. No doubt he was scorned. But that's what Noah did for 100 years, and even after 100 years of preaching righteousness and building the ark, no one except his own immediate family came to be on the boat. Isn't that a shame? So you have that as a great example that God always gives people a chance before he throws judgment at them. In the book of Revelation, you have a lot of preaching going on by the 144,000 witnesses. Globally, they will be around for 3.5 years preaching. The two witnesses of Jerusalem will also preach and give hope to those who listen. Even an angel will circle the globe preaching to the people of all nations, kindred, and tongues, according to chapter 14, verses 6 and 7. And so now that takes us to the second seal. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast or the second angel say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. The red horse rider. The white horse is the Bible, the gospel. The red horse rider, the word red there does not mean color, it means hot. It means heat. Remember when Nebuchadnezzar heated the furnace 7 times hotter? This is uncontrolled global war. The fire of judgment from war and bloodshed globally. It could be vigilante groups globally traveling, killing, and murdering. It could mean nuclear. It could mean any kind of militaristic war that you can imagine. Mass murders, killings, wars. And Jesus also forecasted this in Matthew chapter 24. He said, Kingdom will rise against kingdom, nation will rise against nation. And the Greek word for nation is ethnos, which means ethnic group. So I see globally we have a global race war on our hands. And throughout the history of mankind, that has never happened before. It will not be a pretty day in our world. This rider will take peace from the earth. And peace is what people want. He will replace it with hatred, conflict, suspicion, violence, man turning against man, families destroying one another, people turning against friends and relatives. And I tend to think that our globe is ripe for a global civil war based on race. And God is doing this to wake up people. You see, he tried nature, and he tried the conscience of man. He tried the Bible. So now he's going to try a fourth method called pain and suffering to wake up this big world of ours into their difficulties, their sins. This brings us to the third seal. You have the gospel, the white horse rider. You have war, global war, the red horse rider. Now you have the black horse rider, which is famine and disease and global economic devastation. And when he had opened a third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." See, the third seal is following a natural order. You have the gospel first, but when war erupts, there's fewer people to farm and manufacture and produce, so you have a great economic meltdown and worldwide famine. Here's the problem. A measure of wheat is the amount of wheat it takes for an average person to survive for one day. And a penny is how much you earn in one day as an average. So you got to work all day long to make enough money to feed yourself for one day. This brings us to the fourth rider, which is the pale horse. So you have white, red, black, and pale. When he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed after him. And power was given to him over a fourth part of the earth to kill with a sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Finally, John sees the fourth horse. This is death, physical and eternal. The Greek word for pale is chloros, and we get chlorine, like a greenish, deathly color. It will not be a pretty day in this time period, as the Earth's population is 7.5 billion people. He has power to put to death 1/4 of them, which is almost 2 billion people. Death by sword, hunger, and with any types of deathly misery that a person can imagine. Pestilence and plagues and disease and leprosy, and even by the beasts of the earth. Anyway, it's not going to be good, but you know what? God has a plan like he always does. Thank you for watching part 2. Join me if you can for part 3 as we look at why this is so important for the Christian community. God bless you today, and take time to read the book of Revelation, and please take time to share this little message with someone that might need it, who might need just a little bit of dose of hope. Because remember, when Revelation takes place, the Christian will not be here. The rapture will take place first. And so there's the good news there. Thank you.